what's up? Good morning, good afternoon. Hey everybody, so good to see you. My name is Chris Gillibo. You are watching something that we are making together. It is day 16 of this new series called The Money Tree. Well, that's the name of my book, but this series is kind of broader than that. It's all about finding opportunities in a time of uncertainty. A little bit of side hustle school, but live and by video for a community who is watching online from all over the world and also later. So if you're watching online, I do this every morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern. You can watch live and contribute in the comments in the chat. Or you can watch later and try to keep most of it as evergreen as possible. So I'm glad to be here. Today is, what day is today? It is April 27th, 2020, almost done with April, going into a new month soon. Good to see you all. Let me know where you are watching from. Awesome to see some of our regulars. You all are so wonderful. It's always fun to see you. And some new people as well. So I'm excited. I got a few things to share with you today. I'm going to do a couple of new things, like always, trying to just, mix things up. And as I mentioned, this is something that we're co-creating together. So it's always good to hear what other people are working on, what your challenges are, what your struggles are, and so on. So last week we talked with Doodle Reads, who's been here just about every day. We're going to do a site critique for him, not today, but probably tomorrow or the next day. If you have a website that you would like me to look at and give some comments for, also share with our community here, as well as everybody watching later, then let me know and we'll get that in the mix. Also, Caitlin asked me to do something specifically about how to find your ideal customer. We'll also do that most likely tomorrow, I believe. I think that's on the schedule. If you have just arrived or whenever you're watching, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button right below. That just shows YouTube that people care. You can also subscribe and hit the notification. I think it's the bell button to get notifications. So that would be awesome. Let's see, what did I want to tell you right off the bat today? A couple things. So first of all, we're going to do a giveaway. I'm going to do a giveaway of the new book, The Money Tree, in just a moment. And if you already have it, then that's awesome. You can give this new copy to a friend. Tell you about that in a second. Also, I've had a lot of requests for meeting groups, for meetup groups, or for online conversation groups, specifically about the third way, which is the concept I talk a lot about in the book. The third way, the way to start a business, an entrepreneurial project without spending a lot of money by using the skills you already have and in a short period of time. So that's what a lot of my work is about, but specifically the money tree. In this story, the main character goes on this journey and meets up with a group who's doing that. So we're working on that, and I think I'm going to have a plan to do that in two different formats. One will be like a Facebook group format, and then we'll do a live format via a weekly Zoom meeting. So I'm going to start that probably next week. I wanted to let you know about it first. I think it will be next Thursday evening, but of course I will share that information widely. Just want to let you know because people were asking me for it. Okay, so good to see you all here. Doodle Reads, yeah, it's good. We're going to do your site. It's good. I was looking at it before. It looks really great. Mark says, will you keep on doing this show after COVID-19? Well, first of all, we don't know how long COVID-19 is going to go for. Could be quite a while, right? But second, I don't know. I'm not sure. I wanted to do something to kind of, adapt and respond to the times, to the reality that I can't go out and do a book tour the way that I've always done before. So I wanted to experiment a bit myself. It's a good experiment. I'm enjoying it, but I haven't made any long-term plans, beyond these weeks. I'm just kind of trying to stay in the moment, to be present, contribute however I can and such. Yes, third way group's coming up soon. Okay, let's do the question of the day. And so this one, we're going to have a giveaway, as mentioned. So question of the day, what is the best free thing you've ever received? The best thing that you ever received for free, something that whether you're expecting it or not expecting it, doesn't really matter, whether you won a contest or a prize or whatever it is, no parameters. What is the best free thing that you have ever received? Post your answer there in the chat. I will share my answer as well. And I will pick one of the answers. I'm a biased judge. I believe in benevolent democracy. So I will pick one of the answers that is particularly interesting, and we will give a book to that person. If you are in the U.S., we will actually send you a print book. If you are not in the U.S., we will send you a digital copy of the book. So I will pick one of those answers in a little bit. Most likely I will remember. Most likely I will remember, but if I don't, let me know, and we will come back. What is the best free thing you've received? Let me know. While that is happening, I will tell you just a couple of quick things. So the book, by the way, if you haven't heard it or haven't heard of it or haven't read it yet, the subtitle is a story about finding the fortune in your own backyard. It's really fun to see this book going out in the world and hearing back from a lot of readers. This is a book for people who don't necessarily read business books or how-to books, but they need financial security. They're experiencing financial turmoil just like so many people are in this day and age. And so the book is a story about this guy who's experiencing all this pressure and has to kind of figure things out for himself. So I'm really grateful that the book is doing well. What did I want to show you? Oh yeah, so we have, I think we have over 110 5-star reviews now on Amazon, which I am grateful for. So if you happen to agree with this message, nothing is for sale here. Just talking about books, but mostly talking about life and what's going on with you and what you can do to create more economic freedom and security for yourself. If you agree with this message, it would be awesome if you could share it, tell people about the book, leave me a review if you're able. That's awesome. But if not, that's okay too, because I want you to do something for yourself. That's the most important. I really believe in investing in yourself for your future, so that you have options, so that you can look after other people better. Ultimately, it starts with caring for yourself. So that's what all of my work is about: self-reliance. Let us see what people had to say about the best free thing that you've ever received. Okay, and feel free to keep this coming. By the way, I go back and forth with the comments in the chat. Since I'm kind of multitasking here, I'm not able to see everything, but I'll try to respond to as much as I can. Feel free to post whatever. And then at the end, I always go back and read everything, just so I know what people are wondering about or sharing, and then that kind of informs what I do going forward, like I mentioned about the site review and the lesson we're going to do about Ideal Customer. So Mark got a copy of The Alchemist book. Laura got a St. Bernard puppy. Wow. That doesn't seem like a free thing, though, right? Like, that probably comes with a lot of lifetime expense. Mary Jo says a grain mill from an industry show. Christine, my car. Hey, Christine, what's up? Good to see you here, by the way. My wonderful sister-in-law gave me her trusty old car. She just passed away from cancer at Easter, and I think of her every time I drive somewhere. Well, my condolences, and I'm glad you got a car, and it's nice that you have that memory to associate with. Let's see what else. Whoops, my comments just skipped there. A glorious cottage hobbit house home where I could do my creative writing work on a beautiful vineyard estate in Wine County. Wow, that is pretty good. I mean, a free cottage hobbit house home. That's good. Experience Addict won 2 free tickets to a small private Bon Jovi concert. That's awesome. That's great. Let's see here. Free ski trip from Zipcar. Actually ended up giving it away for free to a snowboarder. That's nice. Free tickets to NBA All-Star Game. Very cool. And Renuka says, my book, The $100 Startup. Unconditional Love, The Master Gaster. Movie tickets, trip to the U.S. Tickets to NSYNC back in the day. Somebody won a webcam. Okay, who should we choose for the winner? I was thinking maybe, let's see, and maybe in the future, if I do this, I'll have like a random generator or something to make it less biased. But for now, since I'm a biased judge, well, it's good to see Christine. She just got a car. Is it? I forget how to say that name there. I won't try to pronounce the name. The Cottage Habit House is awesome. Bon Jovi. What if we give it to 3GXD, I think, because he won a free ski trip, but then gave it away for free to a snowboarder. Let's do that. And you might already have a copy of the book, but let me know afterwards. We'll send you one. You can give it on to a friend. So let's do that. Thank you. And we'll do this more going forward. Like I said, just trying to experiment different stuff. So giveaway, question of the day, third way groups coming up. Let's see. And what do I want to talk about today? Oh, yes, there is a lesson. And my slides kept skipping around. I think I figured out why that happens, by the way. It's because before, not that you care, but before this starts, I try to go in the chat and say, hey, everybody, I'll see you in a minute. And when I do that, the keyboard shortcuts I use affect the thing in the other program. Whoa. Okay. So I wanted to talk today about services. All right. We're talking a lot about reselling in the past couple of days and such. But I want to talk about what are some services you can provide, especially if you're trying to get started without a website. Okay, so for those of you that are already trying to build a website to create your own product or service, then that's great. I think that's probably the best long-term plan for most people. I think that's where you're actually going to create an asset and have some ownership over it. And as I've shared before, like if you're working on another platform, you're kind of dependent on that platform's rules, et cetera. However, if you're just trying to get started right away, what are some things you can do right now? And I wanted to mention a couple of couple of platforms and services that I have not talked about before so far. So let's see, I think I have 5 of them. I've mentioned this briefly, so I think the 3 new ones are at the end. So you can create a profile on Upwork or Fiverr, online marketplace of services that offer all kinds of different services. One of my favorite stories from Side Hustle School, and by the way, we always try to look and see what are people doing differently, because these marketplaces have, hundreds of thousands of service providers. I don't know if it's that many, but they have a lot. They have a lot of service providers. What are people doing differently, to stand out and to actually make some real money, as opposed to just competing, in a crowded field with lots of people? So one of my very first stories in Side Hustle School, the week 1, was about this guy who did not have a background in doing voiceover work at all, but he kind of learned how to do it, and he used a $100 microphone to make over $8,000 in a pretty brief period of time. I think it was a few months or something. So I think he's gone on from there as well. We've had some other examples of people that have done really well with Upwork, kind of specializing in something or otherwise standing out. So you can go and create a profile on one of those sites right now and begin offering a service, or at least put it out there that you are available to offer a service. We talked about this a bit as well in the first week. Use a local platform or network to offer a service. And here I'm specifically referring to platforms like Nextdoor, OfferUp, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, or whatever is local to you. Those are the most common ones in the United States, but there might be some different ones depending on where you are watching from. And then the 3 that I wanted to look at in more detail here today, one of them is called Gumroad. I see some comments and questions. That's great. Feel free to post, and I will come back to those in a few minutes. So one of them is Gumroad. I don't know if anybody here has any experience with Gumroad. This is described as super simple e-commerce for creators. Let me actually see if I can hop over and take a look at the actual website. Yeah, okay. So if you go to gumroad.com, you can see this. And Gumroad decided, oh, look, there's my product. That's funny. I made that product a while ago. They decided to specialize in digital products, specifically courses, but they do a few other things as well. And a few years ago, they were probably my favorite service in terms of having a really clean design and a very, very simple way to just kind of jump in and start selling things. Now, if you have a website, then of course you can create a course and then integrate Gumroad on that website to just handle your checkout process. But they also have their own directory of courses and other digital products for sale. So let's take a look here at courses. Like here, for example, is Allison's Cookie Party, an online course for making perfect sugar cookies with royal icing. Okay, that's something that's, pretty specific. This person obviously has some background in it. So this is being sold in their marketplace. She may or may not have her own website. She probably does, but she doesn't have to for this. So if we scroll down, I think there's a couple other examples I wanted to see. Oh yeah, so they have like a videography workshop, a drawing guide, and a Swift programming ebook. So these are all digital products, as mentioned. When people pay for them, you just have to deliver them, through some digital means, whether it's sending them that file for an ebook or sending them to a page that has, the video files or whatever it is. I liked this, by the way, with the drawing guide. It said, to keep drawing. I've been there. There's a better way. It's way more fun, I promise. So that just as a side note, that's some really good copywriting. But Gumroad is fun because, like I said, it is so simple. I mean, all of these tools always advertise themselves as like really simple, but Gumroad is like super, super simple. And like I said, I just like the clean design of it. So I mean, they obviously charge fees to use that service, but I think it's like $10 a month, just a flat fee, and then you pay a percentage of sales, which never really bothers me because, like, I know some people are like, why would I pay 3%? It's like, well, you're only paying 3% on something that you're selling. So that service is helping you sell it. So, it's still nice to keep 97% of something, especially if it's a digital product. So that is Gumroad. I'm not using them much now, but like I said, I used them for years and had some good experience with them. So let's see, Gumroad. Next thing I wanted to mention is specialized tutoring through Wisent.com. So Wisent, I've never used this myself. I'm not really a tutor. But Wisent is a network of specific kind of tutoring. So it's like it's meant to be tutoring for subjects that are a little bit advanced or subjects that have like a high market value. We had a story of a guy on the podcast who was like a database administrator. And so in database administration, he was working with people in hospitals, other professionals and such. And so he was able to charge, I think it was $80 an hour, and had a fair amount of business coming through Wisent. So if you have that kind of expertise or something similar, then this might be interesting. I think we had one other story about somebody who was math tutoring, but it wasn't just like high school math. There was something specific about it that he ended up doing pretty well with. So you might want to check out wisent.com if you are interested in that. And the last one I wanted to mention here today is clarity.fm. So clarity.fm is, they kind of describe it. This is a very busy slide, but this just comes from their homepage. Startup advice from world-class experts. So this is a service that sells mentoring or advice or consultation. I guess you could say consultations, but they charge by the minute, basically. So when you sign up with them, if you're an expert in a specific topic, whether it's fundraising or crowdfunding or something technical, or looks like they're featuring marketing a lot on their homepage now, but I've always associated them with other stuff. Then you can register there, and people can hire you and have a call, and they basically pay by the minute at a rate that you set. Now, obviously, Clarity takes a percentage of that. I don't know that anybody's like building a huge business from this, but if you set a high enough rate and you get a couple of calls, a week or a month or something, then it can be worth your while, depending on what you are doing. So all these marketplaces are, just kind of places to go and experiment especially if you are a service provider. That's what I'm kind of focusing on here. If you're a service provider and you don't have a website, you don't have something specific that you are trying to kind of build out over time, you're just trying to figure out, what are some different ways that I can kind of play in this world, or maybe I'm trying to figure out what my thing is. Like I've got a lot of different skills, but I don't know like how to, turn them into a product or a service. And that's a lot of what I talk about in the books and such. But if you're just trying to like jump right in, that might be a good fit for some people. And like I said, some people have been able to, charge a pretty high rate and earn a significant. And we will talk it out for probably like 5 to 8 minutes or so. Let's see. Oh, I'm still seeing some more free things that people have gotten. A helicopter ride over glaciers. Nice. That's great. Oh, someone won a cooking pan from my book tour from doTERRA. Those guys are great. We have featured them on Side Hustle School. It's actually a couple, a married couple with kids, and the kids are involved in the business. So they're doing some really fun stuff. We should give a shout out to them with some links at some point. All right. Oh, and thank you, Kiara, for the pronunciation guide. That's helpful. That's good. Kiara says, I'm considering lead pages. What is my view on it? So a lot of people use this service called lead pages. I've never used them myself, but basically it's a templated solution. If you're going to have like a landing page that has an offer for something, you're trying to get people to sign up with email in particular, then they have like all these different options you can use. It's very customized and modular. And of course they charge a monthly fee for it. So Laura got an unexpected snack box from someone, which included a free movie rental, which I donated to our volunteer fire department. That's nice. Doodle Reed says, do Gumroad handle stuff like international sales tax for digital products? That always seems so complicated. Good question. I am not sure. I do seem to remember that when this became a little bit more of an issue, especially for people in the US who were selling to customers in Europe, I seem to recall that they had, some emails about that and some like, here's what you can do, regarding that process, but I don't know for sure. So you'd want to check on that. Yes, international sales tax is a complicated thing. So now if you have any other comments or questions, Renuka, how do you pick a service niche? So we should talk a little there. It's much easier if we know a little bit to kind of narrow down and say, well, here's a service area that you might want to focus on. And generally it's helpful to like look at your whole range of skills, what you have studied, in college, university, or elsewhere, what you do for your job, what you are really good at, what you're an authority in, what people ask you about, It's kind of helpful to start from there and then say, okay, well, based on that and based on these different platforms that we've looked at, maybe this thing might be a good fit, or maybe you might want to explore this a little bit more. So when you ask questions, give me some context, and that'll help me give a better answer. Lolo says, I'm getting a free copy, but I'm not sure when to expect it. I'm ready to start reading. Well, I'm ready for you to get it, so hopefully it will come soon. What hosting service, Master Gaster says, should I use for a website? I've used a lot of different hosts over the years. I've never really loved one, to be totally honest. Like, I've had ups and downs with many of them. Service for the most part called InMotion. I actually have a link for them that I can share afterwards for like $5, a $5 a month option, and they're pretty good. But I think honestly, everybody has, like, they all have reliability problems from time to time. Sorry, I can't give a more like strong endorsement, but I just try to always be honest. I'm like, yeah, I use this service, but I don't know that it's the most amazing in the world. Hector Perez, finally on the live stream today. What's up, man? Hector is commenting on every single video, but he's watching it afterwards. So he's like answering the questions that we do in the comments on the video post afterwards. So good to see you on the live stream. What's up? Welcome. Kiara says, I can't comment. What may be the problem? I'm not sure if you mean in the chat, because it's working in the chat. I can see it. Okay, Pamela, here's a good thing to talk about. Pamela says, how can we get new clients when it seems no one wants to spend money right now? Okay, well, people are still spending money. They are just, spending money on different things, or they're reluctant to spend money on certain areas. Obviously the economy worldwide, not just in the United States, but worldwide, has taken a huge hit. We are at something like 20% unemployment in the US, which I don't think has ever happened in my lifetime, maybe when I was like 3 years old or something. And obviously in other countries, it's the same or worse and such. So it really depends on, what you are selling and what is your service. Because like part of what I'm doing in this series is trying to highlight businesses that are doing well, and not just businesses that are doing well because they chose something, ahead of time that they're well positioned to do, because that's kind of a question of luck or good fortune. But how are businesses adapting? And, what are some ways that people are, kind of responding to the situation, still offering something that is within their kind of range of expertise, but that might be more palatable or marketable during this time. So I'm going to give you a couple examples later in the week. I've got a whole episode about I think it's 6 businesses that have adapted, and here's what they're doing. But just to give you one quickly, there's a woman named Brooke in Connecticut, and she had started this, I think, like right when COVID-19 was beginning, and then she really decided to kind of go all in with it because people were responding to it, and she wasn't able to actually do her day job. And so in a short period of time, she is now earning $2,700 a month in recurring income from this virtual meditation community. So I will highlight it a bit more in a couple of days to kind of break it down in some detail. But I just always like to see how people are adapting in different ways. More to come on that. Okay, a couple more questions or comments. Oh, then we have a daily challenge, so let me not forget. I don't think I've forgotten anything. We did the giveaway. We did the question. We did the lesson. Plant-based coaching, Pamela says. Okay. Well, that's something that people are still going to want. And in some ways, maybe they see it as a luxury, or some might, but I would say also during this time, a lot of people are making different decisions and evaluating their whole life. And so anytime there's an opportunity to create change, then that is positive for something like this. So it's just a matter of, maybe we could look at your website. Actually, if you have a website, let me know when we do the other one in a couple of days. We can look at yours. Okay. In these 5 websites, which is the best website? I don't know if there is a best website. SideHustleSchool.com is a great website, but as for the best website, I don't think there is one. It really just, like for the ones I'm talking about, it's like, what are you trying to do? If you're trying to make a digital product, then Gumroad is a great website. If you are, a specialized tutor, if you want to try that out, then Wisent. If you are selling something locally, then, in the US at least, it's Nextdoor or OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace. I'm not sure what it is in India, but I know for sure in India they have lots of platforms for selling locally. So it just kind of depends on what you want to do. Okay, let us jump to our daily challenge. let's see. Oh, by the way, how are you guys doing with the daily challenges? Because last week we had a few in terms of selling something of any kind, right? Specifically looking at reselling, but just like do something. We had register, make an account, make a free account at one of the different platforms we were talking about. We had something about change your quarantine routine, do something small to like modify your routine, and whatever else we had. We had a few others. We had one every day. Let me know. So today's focused on what we were talking about today. List something for sale on any third-party platform. So it could be the ones I've been talking about in terms of services. It could be going to make that account at Upwork or Fiverr if you haven't done so before and listing a service there. It could be, again, like we were talking about last week, just selling something that you already own or selling something that you have access to on an online auction site or on one of those ones I just mentioned, like Nextdoor, OfferUp, etc. Or it could be something totally different. So the challenge is to list something for sale on any one of these platforms and come back and let me know how that goes. Okay, 2 more minutes. We will wrap it up. Hope you all are doing well wherever you are in the world. Hope you had a good weekend and a good start to the week. Hope you've set some goals for the week. Let's see. Did I talk about the third way group? I don't have more to say about it just yet, but I will very, very soon. So I think we're going to start it next week. Mostly I'm letting you know that it's coming. And what I'm going to do, so 2 formats. One is going to be like a Facebook group, and the other one will be like a big Zoom meeting. So last week, I don't know if you were on that call, Mark, but last week I did a master class for everybody who had pre-ordered the book. And so that was kind of like this format, except other people can chime in with video and ask questions directly, which is really fun. So I'm going to do a format kind of like that. It will be Zoom. It will be in the late afternoon Pacific time, early evening Eastern time, etc. And I will have more information on that soon. It will also be free. So that's all I have to say about it yet, but soon I'll have some more. All right. Oh, farm tours. Let's do one more question here. I'm trying to get a geology/rock climbing business going. I focus on the homeschool community. Interesting. Do you have any suggestions? Yeah, so my first thought is focusing on the homeschool community is really good right now. I don't know if you mean the existing homeschool, like the community that chose to homeschool, or the much broader community of people that are now homeschooling because they have no choice. I think that's an interesting market because you have all these kids that are now staying home. You have these parents that are also staying home. That a lot of them are not used to that environment. A lot of them are struggling and trying to figure out not just the educational component of it, but also just the social and how can I create activities for my kids and such. So depending on where you live and what part of the country or world, if you are able to like get people together in small groups, and if you aren't now, hopefully at some point soon you will be able to, I think it's actually pretty interesting to like position that as a benefit for everybody who's like, forced homeschooled now. I'll be able to take your kids and we're going to have like this interesting experience. They're going to learn something, they're going to be active, and they won't be in they won't be at your house, basically. So let me know if you have a website for that, and we can take a peek at that in a couple of days as well. I can probably give some more specific, helpful comments if I see a website. Good. Oh, Christine says, I know what I'm going to start with this challenge. Boxes full of self-published bread maker cookbooks. Awesome. That's great. I've known Christine for years, so she's done all kinds of fun stuff. So I look forward to hearing what happens with that. When will I come to India? I don't know, because I can't go anywhere right now. So first I need to be able to go somewhere, and you can't have anybody in India, right? You guys are still on lockdown too. So we shall see. Okay, I think that's it for today. I will go back and read any comments that I missed, but do come back tomorrow. We're doing this every morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, or it could be afternoon for you, wherever you are in the world. And if you are enjoying, please share it with somebody. Everything is free. Tell your friends to subscribe. And most importantly, do something for yourself. Like I said, remember that this is a strange time. By the way, at the end of the episode, I always do this little encouragement, which is partly for me. It's not just for you. I'm always like, this is a strange time. We're all trying to figure things out. But it's also the time that presents opportunity and possibility. So, if you're struggling in some way, just know that you're not alone. All over the world, people are trying to figure stuff out. But let us use this as a chance to, hopefully in the future, look back and say, okay, that was really weird. That was hard in lots of ways, but it also kind of gave me some, motivation or a different direction, for the future, for some changes that I want to make for myself, or perhaps that you want to make. So I'll leave you with that today. Thank you so much for watching. Great to see you all, and I hope you'll come back tomorrow. My name is Chris Guillebeau. Have a good day.